come and meet me face to face. I'll eat Froch alive and I'll eat Bellew alive. And by the way, Bellew got his ass handed to him by a bantamweight when he was young.
John Fury runs into and threatens Carl Froch at airport ahead of explosive fight, and suddenly, the tension goes through the roof. The two men come face to face in a heated confrontation, with Fury visibly furious and throwing threats straight at Froch. Voices rise, tempers flare, and for a moment it feels like things could explode right there in the airport as both refuse to back down.
Fuck off.
But John Fury wasn't finished there, and moments later he doubled down with an even stronger message. Standing his ground, he makes it known that he's not backing down from anyone, especially Carl Froch. Fury tries to project absolute confidence, insisting he's ready for whatever comes his way. In typical Fury fashion, the words are loud and defiant, sending a clear signal that he believes Froch doesn't intimidate him one bit.
I'll let you get first. I'll let you.
Carl Froch isn't buying the tough talk for a second. The former world champion fires back with a cold warning, making it crystal clear that if John Fury steps anywhere near him, things won't end well. Froch speaks with the calm confidence of a man who's been in real fights, and suddenly John's loud threats start to look a lot less intimidating.
Don't come anywhere near me, nowhere in the vicinity within my jab, or you will be getting ironed out. You'll be unconscious. You'll be snoring before you hit the floor. Big John Fury, the bare knuckle champion, the fighting man. You'll be asleep before you hit the floor. So don't talk.
Gareth Davies highlights how close the situation came to turning into a massive brawl, with both entourages standing aggressively around the scene. The atmosphere was charged, and with so many people gathered, even a small trigger could have sparked chaos. Thankfully, security reacted fast and managed to defuse the tension before anything serious happened, keeping the confrontation from spiraling out of control.
It could have been a huge brawl in there because both entourages are huge, about 25 in each team. There's about 150 international media here as well in the mezzanine floor. It was still dramatic anyway. But thankfully the security did a great job as well and calmed it all down.
John Fury tries to justify his aggressive behavior by describing how he reacts when someone steps into his space. His words paint a picture of a man who believes confrontation is normal when challenged. Instead of showing restraint, he frames the altercation as routine, almost dismissing the seriousness of the situation. To many observers, this only adds fuel to the criticism surrounding his conduct.
Because when I was in amongst them, all I could hear was badness. You know, so at the end of it, some little idiot come forward, I knew who he was, in my space. He got what he got, and that's the end of it. It happens every other week for me, that.
Roman Fury comes in defending his father, arguing that people are unfairly targeting the older Fury while ignoring everything he has accomplished. However, the message still carries an aggressive tone, suggesting there are others ready to fight Carl Froch if needed. The talk of smoke and confrontation continues the hostile narrative, making it feel like the Fury camp is escalating the verbal war rather than cooling it down.
They're trying to pick on the old man, and the old man will go to town. But there's enough young men who will sort him out for them.
You want some smoke from Carl Froch?
I'll be Carl Froch.
I don't know you, but I'm backing Carl.
I'll get Carl Froch.
Oleksandr Usyk points out that the bad behavior is coming from the Fury side, suggesting the problem isn't just between the fighters, but also involves the family and team surrounding them. His statement keeps the focus on conduct rather than confrontation, framing the situation as a discipline issue rather than a personal rivalry. The comment adds another layer of criticism toward the Fury camp's public behavior.
Bad behavior, Fury team, Fury father. It's problem only Fury.
Carl Froch unleashes a harsh assessment of John Fury's behavior, describing it as thuggish and disrespectful. He criticizes the way Fury allegedly acts aggressively and then treats the situation as a joke, especially when threats are involved. Froch's anger is clearly visible as he demands distance from the Fury camp, arguing that such conduct has no place in professional boxing culture.
He's behaved like a thug in a disgusting manner, and then he's able to just laugh it off and joke it off and say, you know what, anyone comes near me, they're going to get a headbutt. So it's kind of justified what he's done. He's been vindicated for what he's done, as in, yeah, it's okay to go around like that and behave like an imbecile, and then still laugh and joke and still threaten to headbutt me in belly. I've told you what I think about headbutting this too. You know.
Isaac Lowe defends the situation by suggesting that confrontation was almost inevitable after the aggressive face-to-face encounter in front of hundreds of people. He points out that pushing and shoving in such a heated environment could trigger a stronger reaction, especially considering John Fury's reputation for being quick-tempered when challenged publicly, which keeps the controversy surrounding the incident alive.
Getting a man's face in front of a hall with over 500 people, what do you expect someone to do? Pushing and shoving, and we all know Big John's quick-tempered, you know what I mean? But he threw the headbutt first, so it is what it is. But I think when you're getting someone's first and you're tolerating and pushing someone's head back,
Pain Game suggests that despite the offer being placed on the table, there was no real interest in accepting it. This moment reflects the gap between John Fury's public bravado and the practical steps needed to make the fight happen. The transcript implies that while Fury talks aggressively about being willing to fight anyone, the opportunity presented was ultimately ignored, which continues to raise questions about how serious the challenge truly was.
Within my jab, or you will be getting ironed out. You'll be unconscious. You'll be snoring before.
Eddie Hearn expresses concern about what could happen if John Fury and Carl Froch are allowed to get too close to each other. His solution is simple but telling, keeping both men separated by heavy security. The statement reflects how seriously the situation is being taken behind the scenes, as promoters and officials appear worried that verbal hostility could escalate into physical confrontation if control measures are not enforced during public appearances.
You honestly think if these two come together like this, well, you know what's going to happen?
So what are you
I'm going to keep them apart by a wall of security.
Carl Froch describes the earlier confrontation as genuinely threatening rather than just heated banter. He points out that a less mentally prepared person could have been deeply offended or intimidated by the behavior. Froch's reference to prison and warning messages adds weight to his claim that the exchange crossed acceptable boundaries. The tone of his response suggests that he views John Fury's comments not as entertainment, but as serious intimidation tactics.
Actually, quite, if I was a bit of a snowflake, then I'd have been upset, I'd have been offended by it, because it was threatening, he was calling it on, and he was saying basically watch your back, and you don't want to go back to prison. So he needs to be careful, doesn't he? I mean, he's talking about going back to prison, so he's putting loose threats out there for me.
Pain Game continues with a mocking and controversial tone, focusing on how John Fury often talks about family pride in a very loud and provocative way. The commentary suggests that instead of presenting meaningful discussion, the moment turns into another public jab at Fury's personality. The transcript is interpreted as criticism of his tendency to exaggerate masculinity and dominance through aggressive language. Observers see this as part of the ongoing character conflict surrounding Fury, where his public statements frequently become a source of both entertainment and criticism within the boxing community.
Father of the king of the world, I think he's referring to Tyson Fury. When you have kids, most people, when they want to talk about their children, they might pull their mobile phone out and show a few pictures. Big John just shows you his balls. That's where they came from. If there's anyone who needs a Manscaped advert, it's fucking John Fury.
Frank Warren expresses discomfort with the confrontation, emphasizing that aggressive behavior is not necessary when there is already a good fight on the table. His statement reflects the promoter's perspective, prioritizing the sport itself rather than public hostility and chaotic publicity. Warren's words suggest that the incident went beyond what should be expected in professional boxing promotion. Instead of building excitement in a controlled way, the altercation created unnecessary negativity, which he believes adds no real value to the fight and only damages the sporting image surrounding the event.
I like it. People think because you're a promoter, you like all that stuff. Me, I didn't like what happened.
Johnny Nelson takes a more balanced view, suggesting that John Fury's actions may have served a promotional purpose by creating attention and excitement around the event. According to this perspective, the controversy helped generate conversation and keep the fight in public discussion. However, the comment also implies that the behavior itself may not have been genuinely sportsmanlike. While it succeeded in attracting eyes to the story, critics argue that excitement built on confrontation risks overshadowing the athletic competition and promoting a culture of unnecessary hostility inside boxing.
Froch on fine because I'm quite sure Carl's going to rip the life out of John after today. I think John did a job. John did a job and got the excitement going, got people talking. That's exactly what he did.
John, I know Ade Oladipo describes how John Fury moved directly toward the confrontation, though there was uncertainty about what he intended to do if he reached his target. The moment is framed more as entertainment than a serious sporting incident, reflecting how press conference drama has increasingly become part of modern boxing promotion. While some viewers see this as harmless spectacle, others question whether such behavior risks crossing the line between promotion and uncontrolled aggression.
Fury, being John Fury, went straight for him. I'm not quite sure what he was going to do if he got to him, but I guess that was the entertainment from the press conference.
Adam Smith presents a more relaxed interpretation of the rivalry, suggesting that John Fury and Carl Froch are both colorful personalities who enjoy expressing controversial opinions. The commentary frames their confrontation as part of boxing's entertainment culture, rather than a genuine personal conflict. According to this view, moments like this keep fans engaged because the sport thrives on strong characters and public debate. However, the statement also carries a subtle warning that such behavior should remain within the boundaries of friendly rivalry. Boxing history shows that controversial personalities can attract attention, but excessive hostility risks damaging the sport's professional image if emotions escalate beyond controlled competition.
What I do know is that John Fury and Carl Froch on the cobbles will be fun. I think they both have a good fun doing that, but I'm sure it's all fun and games. They like to say what they believe. They like to say something that's controversial, and they're two big characters, and we love having them around the sport.
Spencer Oliver reflects on the confrontation by acknowledging how difficult it is to predict a winner if John Fury and Carl Froch were to face each other. The conversation highlights Froch's physical condition even at 48 years old, suggesting he still carries the competitive edge of a former world champion. The mention of Fury also extending the confrontation toward other boxing legends adds another layer of controversy to the story. The moment reinforces the unpredictable nature of the rivalry, where personal history and fighting reputation mix together. While fans debate who would prevail, the discussion itself continues to fuel public curiosity about whether this conflict could ever move from verbal confrontation to something more serious.
So, John Fury, Carl Froch, who wins that one?
Difficult one to call, that really? You got to go with the Cobra. You got to go with the Cobra, mate.
Really?
The Cobra's dangerous. He's still in shape. 48 years of age.
John's standing over there behind you.
You got to go with John Fury. Yeah, no, it kicked off a little bit. But it wasn't only Carl Froch that he went into either, did he? He actually went into Lennox Lewis as well. He started steaming into Lennox Lewis a little bit, and I go, whoa, who wins that one?
Dave Allen offers a more personal perspective, acknowledging that he does not support aggressive behavior but still maintains respect for John Fury as a friend. His statement reflects the complicated relationship many people have with controversial figures in boxing, where personal loyalty can exist alongside criticism of public conduct. Allen's reaction suggests that while the incident was not professionally acceptable, it is also not entirely surprising given Fury's outspoken nature. The comment highlights how some members of the boxing community are willing to separate personal character from professional behavior. Ultimately, the transcript reinforces the ongoing debate about whether such confrontational moments should be seen as entertainment or as behavior that boxing should move away from.
I'm not saying that I condone that behaviour, because I don't. You can't, it's impossible to. But John is my mate. I've got respect for him. I respect the family. We're cool. So you're never going to hear me say a bad word about it, but at the same time, obviously, no. It's probably not the Steve Bunce thing. I thought, bloody hell. Didn't like it, really.
Liam Goff explains the long-standing tension between John Fury and Carl Froch, pointing out that their rivalry has been building over time through public mentions and verbal exchanges. The discussion even touches on the possibility of an exhibition-style fight, though financial conditions and negotiations remain a major factor. John Fury's statement that he would fight if the money was right contrasts with Froch's suggestion of turning the event into a charity-based contest, showing how the rivalry has shifted between sport, business, and public spectacle.
John Fury was doing that and goading Carl Froch. And I know John Fury doesn't like Carl Froch. Carl Froch mentions him, although I haven't really watched much of Carl Froch's videos lately. But Carl Froch, I know, has mentioned John Fury in the past. He's had a go with John Fury. They actually talked about having an actual, was it an exhibition or a boxing type match? And John Fury, any man, any time, was saying words to the effect of, oh, I'll fight you, Carl Froch, but the money has to be right. And Carl Froch basically said, all right, well, if we arrange payment, it can go to...
The tension between John Fury and Carl Froch has kept fans talking, but the real question is whether this rivalry will ever move beyond words. If the fight actually happens, the stakes are huge. Froch brings world championship experience and technical discipline, while Fury relies more on aggression and psychological pressure. Many fans believe Froch's boxing IQ and conditioning could give him the edge, especially in a controlled ring fight. On the other hand, Fury supporters argue that his raw fighting mentality and confidence make him dangerous in any confrontation. Right now, the confrontation feels more like a public feud than a confirmed match, but boxing history shows that rivalries like this can suddenly turn real. So the question is simple: if these two ever step into the ring, who has the mental strength and fighting power to win? Are you backing Carl Froch, or do you think John Fury shocks the world? Drop your prediction below.